Welcome back, everybody, to another live edition of the DCL Duo podcast brought to you by My Path Unwinding Travel. And I'm rocking the Steely Dan tonight. No, or not Steely Dan, the Grateful Dead Steely for, I just got back from Vegas yesterday evening from watching the Grateful Dead at the Sphere. Pretty excited about that. But
And I'm rocking the hardcore Marvel t-shirt today. So
right. Yes, and we got some great guests with us. We've got Jason and Heidi. Jason has been on before from Popular Cruising, and this is Heidi's first time. We love
Heidi came on once before.
Was Heidi on?
No.
Oh, wait, no,
an audio one, right? Like an audio. Yeah.
That's
right. Not video, but audio.
Right. Yeah. So yes, that's right. Heidi was on with you the last time we had you on, I think, Jason.
Right.
Jason's rocking the the Wish the Wish design shirt. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and all Disney Cruise Line, even the T-shirt. So
yeah,
there you go.
I gotta go with the classic.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Classic.
Always
Mickey,
a classic. Always.
Well,
great to have you. Great to have you both. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
For all of you out there in the community, we like to start with news, and there's only one big news item I think out right now, which is that the treasure floated out over the weekend. So
hooray!
She floats.
And there were fireworks, and Voyager Mini was there for the sort of ceremony of it all. Yeah,
and much rejoicing was had.
Yes, much rejoicing.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes. So now begins the process of they complete some things there at the yard as she floats, and then they float her down the Ems. The M. I forgot how you say Emshaven. The
Ems River.
Ems River. Yeah.
It goes to Emshaven.
Yeah. Out to sea for sea trials, and then assuming she passes her sea trials, they will hand over delivery to Disney. So she is on her way for us for December. We're looking forward to being on her at Christmas time. But we're not going to be talking treasure tonight. We know so much about the treasure. We know more about the Destiny than we did a week ago, as last week was just all Destiny all the time. And we wanted to have Jason and Heidi on to talk about a bunch of stuff Disney Cruise Line related, but let's start with the Destiny since it's the most recent thing that happened.
Yeah.
I assume you
Brian, you gotta get them an opportunity to give their cruising.
I do. I
audience
straight ahead. I promised I wouldn't, and I did. And so here we go.
It's been a while since you guys have been on the show. So for new audience who haven't heard you guys on our show before, why don't you tell our audience your cruising background, your connection to Disney? Obviously, Jason, you are Popular Cruising, and Heidi is Mrs. Popular Cruising. But
right. He was there first. So.
So why don't you tell our audience your cruising background and sort of what you do, because you do it for a living.
Well, as the story goes, I was not even 2 years old before I went on my first cruise. And I've been cruising ever since, not professionally, but it's been since 2011 that I've been doing it professionally. But I've been on over 200 cruises. In fact, the 200 cruise was my 40th birthday, celebrated on the Disney Wish. So that was in December. And I've been on another 4 since then. So now we're looking at 205 coming up, but we'll be on together. So
wow,
it's been an exciting journey. It's been quite a ride.
Do you know how many nights you've been on a cruise?
I broke it down one time, and it was like I've spent years at sea, and like it was like a percentage of my life that's been spent at sea.
Wow,
so it's pretty amazing. Yeah.
And I'll never catch up. I'm getting close to 40, but he's way ahead of me.
Yeah,
you got to just take a few without him, Heidi.
I know, right?
How many Disney cruises have you done now, Jason?
Oh, it's been probably upwards of 20 or
probably getting close to 20.
Close to 20, yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So a few behind us, I have to say, as far as Disney cruising, but you have much more cruise line experience on all of the other cruise lines. And obviously, we know you sail on, larger cruise lines, but you've also sailed on some of the smaller cruise lines as well. So
I've been on something as small as a 12-passenger tugboat, believe it or not.
Wow. That is so
variety.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I will tell you, we have a few people in the audience saying that they want your job. Both Tracy says, I want his job, professional cruiser. And then CT Tinfoil Mouse Ears is saying, preach, Tracy. So you have some folks who are a little envious, but you don't just go on cruises. You write about cruising for a bunch of different publications. Like tell folks where they can find you if they want to
Sure.
read, all your stuff.
So my main outlet is I'm the cruise editor at Travel Age West. It's a publication that's primarily for travel agents. And then of course I have my Popular Cruising YouTube channel with the signs back here, and that's what I do all my video reviews for. So every ship that I go on, I do a video review, and very comprehensive. And whenever Heidi is there along with me, she chimes in and tells me what she thinks. We do a little he said, she said banter.
Yes.
So it's a lot of fun.
I love that. And then Mrs. Popular Cruising is now a travel advisor. Is that correct?
It's true. Yes. MrsPopularCruising.com. I can now book all your cruises for you, Disney and otherwise. So hit me up. Let's talk cruise.
Yeah.
Love
Nice.
it. Love it.
Nice. Well, we love having you both on because you have so much cruising experience. And the last time I remember, at least one of the times we had Jason on, you sent us some photos of like the top deck of I forget what ship it was that you were on for the crossing, and it was like covered in snow, and you're just able to situate, and you're both Disney fans, so you're able to kind of situate, bring us back into the kind of down to earth with cruising and where Disney sits in the kind of cruising portfolio. So always excited to chat with you about that. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, well, let's now we can talk Destiny. Now we can talk Destiny.
There you go.
So, big announcements last week. Well, most of the ship, I think, was revealed. I think we're really just missing whether there's a third stage show, which we're all kind of expecting.
Not whether. There is going to be. Don't even say whether. Don't put that out in the universe. The idea that there wouldn't be a third stage show is blasphemy. So
I think D23 Expo, they're saving that one for.
I think so too, Jason. I'm with you. I think they're saving that. It's going to be a big reveal. And like I've said before, I'm hoping for Hercules, the musical.
Oh, I would love that. The music's so good. Yeah.
So good, right? Yeah.
What did you think when they announced like the whole theming of the ship around heroes and villains? It's kind of it
was different. Like, because I know that they always talked about doing that for a theme park, having like a villain's land. So I'm thinking, okay, so maybe they're not going to do the land as much, and they're going to try to do it on a cruise ship instead.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that came to mind.
Nice.
Yeah, but I think it's cool. I think the Stern character for Spider-Man with the spider bots,
with the little
the goggles on the spider bot,
snorkel goggles. I think that's a cute little touch.
Yeah, it's really cute.
Those pretty. So I will say the most divisive announcement they had was the Atrium character and the Stern character. It's like the people are either loving it or hating it.
I think the Stern character is more divisive. I actually think the Atrium, I think the Grand Hall statue, I saw less commentary online about that. I don't know what you guys, what do you guys think about the choice of going with a non-animated really for, I mean, both. I mean, Spider-Man is also an animated character, but in the MCU, he's not. And so, or generally, there is a Spidey and Friends show, I guess, but that's like a young little kid show.
They're ultimately both somewhat animated because they're comic book characters to start. But yes, point taken. Point taken.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's really cool. And I think it's fun. Not that girls don't like Black Panther, because they totally do. But I think it's fun to have a character that a lot of boys connect with and really like. Because there's so much, girly princess stuff in Disney. I think it's kind of a fun departure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just really hope they lean a little bit more into the Wakanda architecture, because I'm looking at the graphic of it right here on my monitor, and it looks a little
bland,
bright,
right?
Actually, it looks a little, I think they need to have a little bit more darker accents.
Like black.
Exactly.
I don't know what you thought, but when I first saw it, I was like, oh yeah. And then I sort of looked at it a little bit harder, and I'm like, this looks like something someone literally sketched in a sketchbook, like 20 minutes. Like it's
very plain. Yes.
And that's what I'm hoping is maybe it's just more preliminary, but you would think that with all the like beautiful patterns in like African fabrics and stuff, that they could do some really cool stuff there. So hopefully they'll boost it up a little bit.
Yes, definitely. We've got a comment from Come On Son saying, I agree with Heidi. I have an 8-year-old son who'll be so excited about it. I think I think you're totally right. I think this leans more like into, the folks who are into superheroes and less into the, folks who are into princesses, which tends to go along gender lines a little bit, but not completely, obviously. What did you think about the choice, though, of putting Frozen as the stage show? Because that goes the exact opposite way. Obviously, Seize the Adventure and Frozen are the stage shows now that you're 2 of the 3 stage shows, I should say.
So I think it's always balancing out the different, like the princesses and the princes, and now you have Frozen is always super popular. Like, they always go for the IPs, and they're trying to like get the most attention, and I get that. And the Frozen show is just great. Like the whole transformation with the costume, it's impressive.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, her costume does not change. It's wonderful time.
Listen, anyone who's seen the Broadway show or the Disney Cruise Line version knows, obviously, I even mentioned the puppetry. The puppetry is spectacular.
Yeah, we love the
So
puppetry.
cute.
Yeah, it's just such a great production. What
Mhm.
do you have a prediction about what the third show is going to be? Do you think, I mean, obviously I've already spoiled what I think it's going to be. And DCL Dan is saying he saw the original Hercules the musical on the Wonder back in 2007.
Right.
And so this would be a revival essentially of that. So it would be new, but not 100% new.
Right.
But yeah, do you have any thoughts or
Hercules
predictions?
fits. I mean, there's been a lot of artwork even in the stateroom shown that's Hercules.
Mhm.
And other than that, it hasn't been really represented. So I'm thinking it might be that it's the stage show.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good prediction.
Yeah.
We have seen some people who've been wanting to see them bring back villains tonight, which would kind of be a no-brainer too for this ship, if I'm honest. But I agree. I mean, I think it's gonna be Hercules, but that's kind of an interesting option as well. Yeah.
Right.
What did you think?
Villains Tonight features Hades, I think, very prominently, if my memory is correct. I've seen it. I've only seen it on YouTube. I never saw it on the ship, but I think Hades is the prominent villain or one of the prominent villains.
I actually do remember seeing that when it was still available. I know it was on the Magic of the Wonder, and it was interesting. It was a little campy. Like I think if they brought it back, they would need to revise it a little bit, but it was still pretty fun. Yeah.
What did you think of the way? I'm curious to step back for a second. What did you think about the way they announced this? Because I think we've gotten so trained, like we have like 1 hour long, maybe 90-minute. There's a video, you know, all that sort of stuff. And this was very much kind of like some art, not everything we got art for, and then
it's
like spread out over 3 days.
And, the Sanctum, and I was surprised that there weren't full renderings for everything yet. I think it's interesting how they went all out on some things, but holding back on others. And I think you're right about that. And the spreading it out over 3 days was interesting. You know, different marketing technique, I suppose.
Yeah. I thought for sure on the last day we might just get, okay, well now here's the full video and you can see everything. And when they didn't do that, I was like, it's just interesting that there's like some spaces being announced and we didn't get any artwork on it.
I was kind of bummed by that. I did really like the sort of comic book animations that they did. I thought those were really fun, and I like how it connected back with the one that they had released several months ago. And so it was like each one was in the same style, but I was kind of bummed that they didn't do like a longer video reveal.
And again, they might be saving that for the expo. So
True.
Well, here's the D23 Expo anymore. It's just D23, right? Does it end there? Like no expo?
Yeah. Oh, I love this comment.
Yeah, Elizabeth saying, my thought. Yeah, Hercules and the Muses will perform at D23. That'd be great. That'd be great.
We would love that, Elizabeth. That's a great. That's a great thought. I hope that's true. And if it happens, it better happen during the 90-minute panel, the 90-minute presentation for Horizons, because that's what we're going to be watching. I'm not watching the rest of it, and I don't think the rest of it is all going to be streaming. So
no, it won't be. What spaces in particular kind of caught your eye? Did anything that stood out that you're like, well, that's really cool. I'm glad they're doing that.
Or really in the opposite.
Oh, sure. But I'll go for you because you're interested in the restaurant specifically.
The Lion King. I think that's going to be so fun. I mean, it's classic, right? This is like our era from our childhood. And for anyone who's seen the Lion King Broadway show, it's going to translate so well into that space. So I'm really looking forward to that. And DeVille's Lounge. I'm pumped for that. I think that's a really cool theme.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really excited for DeVille's.
Yeah.
Specific to Pride Lands, I'm kind of thinking, okay, so you had Olaf as an animatronic on the Wish. Now, I really would love there to be like a baby Simba situation where somebody's carrying him, and it's like powered by a backpack battery. Behind the scenes a little bit there, but and it's just like
But they don't even have to. They could do a puppet,
right? They could.
Right, because I feel like the trolls, so like the trolls puppets, they do those not just in the show Frozen, but they also do it at Olaf's picnic, right?
Oh, sure.
So I don't know if you guys have been to Olaf's picnic. Brian has not. Yeah, because you have to have a kid with you, right? So you got to have a kid with you to get in. Yeah,
let us borrow a kid.
You got to borrow a kid ages 3 to 12, right? So I thankfully I have one on staff, and so Nathan and I went with some friends. Brian didn't go because it's really quite expensive. It's the royalty or the Olaf's Olaf's picnic, I think they call it. Olaf's Royal Picnic. But the picnic one, I haven't been to the royalty one. The picnic one has like a whole like Frozen performance, and it has like the trolls featured very prominently, and there's all these performers using the troll puppets. And I was thinking, I was thinking the same as you about a baby Simba, but I was thinking because all these issues with the animatronic of
Right.
Olaf in the
Yeah.
Wish.
His arm
Broken
keeps falling
every
off.
other-
Yeah.
And he's like broken down. Like it felt like every other, like half the times we cruised on the Wish, we saw Olaf in Arendelle, and half the time we didn't see Olaf in
Right.
Arendelle. So
Keep you guessing.
Yeah.
right, so like a puppet, it doesn't break down the same way that Olaf does.
For
So
sure.
What do you think about? So you mentioned DeVille's, but obviously we got some other bar spaces too. We got the
Yeah.
Doctor Strange Sanctum that we haven't seen any artwork for, but
Right.
Mhm.
can kind of
And
imagine
Cask
what they're going for, and then
Cannon, right?
Cask
Right.
and Cannon, yeah. And I don't think we've talked to you since the treasure announced. So we'll focus on the
Well,
Destiny for a second, but I'd love to get your thoughts on like
I have a
Periscope and
little
that sort of
prop
stuff.
here of my Nautilus. So I'm a very
Oh.
big fan of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
We just
So
watched it like 2 weeks
We
ago.
did the
didn't we?
original
Yeah.
on
Oh my
Disney Plus there.
gosh.
So I have to say the one that's coming on Treasure first is the one that has me the most excited.
Yeah.
But yes, beyond that, of course, a Pirates Bar, you can't go wrong with that.
No, that's gonna be really cool.
Especially since Magic Kingdom sounds like they're getting something similar. So I imagine maybe the development of these two bars will maybe go a little hand in hand. So,
Yeah, and we like that space on the
Yeah.
ship too, where they put like the keg and compass and where
Right.
they're gonna put the pirates and
and how you can get some food, extra
Yeah.
snacks there.
no,
I
it's a
feel
nice
like
place
that.
to hang out.
Yeah.
Yes, I love
Yeah.
the snacks there.
Yeah, so
Actually,
good,
for
yeah.
for those who haven't tried, they have like awesome tachos. They have really good wings.
No. They can't call them
They-
tater tots. They're called potato puffs.
Whatever,
Potato
they're
puffs.
tachos. They're tachos, right?
Tater
They're
tots?
trademark
What's the word,
apparently.
trademark?
Yeah,
By
yeah. I think
Orida.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, by Orida, yeah.
That's
But
fun.
anyway, there are tachos in the keg and compass, and the
Yeah.
wings are really good. And then they also have like one of those big pretzels. I will say,
Yeah.
the big
Mhm.
pretzel is good. It's no Mickey pretzel. Let me just
Oh,
put
I
it
agree.
that
It was
way.
okay.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
also have Moet champagne with
Mhm.
like fruit in it and ice, which I guess is how it's supposed to be served.
Moet
And
ice.
that was my jam.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
Moe
is. I
ice.
love that the Moe ice with the
Yes.
ice and the fruit.
Yes.
Sometimes on the pool deck, if you get the right bartender
Mm.
on the pool deck, they will make you the Moe ice that way, and that's the way it's supposed to be made. But they don't always have the fruit. I think
That's
is
the hot tip right there.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
You just gotta
How
find
do
the
you-
right
so-
bartender.
Mm.
I'm curious. So I loved that they moved away from the Irish theming, like to try something new with the Periscope Pub and now the
Right.
Cask and Cannon. Like,
Yeah.
do you think they'll really like? How hard do you think they'll lean in here? Because the renderings
the
of the Periscope
theming?
Pub, for example, are pretty stunning. They didn't give us
Right.
anything on Cask and Cannon, but
I
like
know.
it like I want them to lean into it, but I'm a little worried they'll.
Much
Well,
as
they
they
won't.
did for Haunted Mansion Parlor, I think they have to go equally so with Pirates, or else the fans are not going to be happy. Like,
Yeah.
you got to go deep.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think they should do it in a way that's just a little like more grown up, right? Instead of making it kind of like a campy space. Like on the Wish, I love how they have all those little hidden carvings,
Yeah,
along the wall with the
Yes.
Dole Whip and
Mhm.
stuff. So it would be cool
Yeah.
if they had some.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't want it to be too subtle, right? Like it definitely needs to
Mm-hmm.
be pirates, but just have some of those subtle nods that would be kind
For
of
sure.
fun.
Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah.
how it's going to be as far as like kid access, because Keg and Compass is fully adult all the time,
Yeah.
but Hyperspace Lounge is
Mhm.
not. It doesn't.
Right.
It turns adult after a certain time of day,
Yep.
and so you can bring your kid to Hyperspace, but you can't bring your kid to Keg and Compass. I mean,
Mhm.
sure they could probably walk in and chat with you and then leave. It's but I'm wondering what you guys think, because Periscope Pub and then of course Cask and Cannon will be more themed, and that's in the same space that Keg and Compass will be. I'm wondering if you think they will change sort of the way they do the access and make it more like hyperspace and have, anyone's welcome during the day, but not after a certain time of night.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what's interesting, because on the Wish, that was really the first time that there wasn't a dedicated district for
Yeah, like the
adults
wing
only.
kind of.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that you have the individual venues that are just kind of individually, access was based on.
Yeah. And on the
timing.
Wish, it's like right next to the big, like the 2-story multi-purpose
Right.
purpose venue, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bummer that it's not like separated. So if I'm a kid, I probably would think I would
Right.
be able to go in there. So I kind of hope, even though we do like
Yeah.
adult only spaces because we are a childless
Yeah.
couple, but
Well, even just for like trivia we
Yeah.
had King
in
and
King and
Compass.
Compass. But I think
So I
it'd be
could see
fun if
that.
they let kids in those
Yeah.
spaces during
But
certain
if,
hours.
but if they let kids in those spaces,
Yeah.
they should let adults
right?
Yes, I'm with
Only
you,
fair.
Jason.
Yeah,
It's only
yeah.
fair. Like that, that Star Wars space. Now
So cool.
you can go see it during open house hours, but like you can't do the game with the
Right.
tablet
Exactly.
like in the in the open house hours.
Yep.
And same with they even have these cool like frozen games in a different part of the club where you like throw snowballs and stuff.
Oh, that'd be
But you
awesome.
need the kids magic band to use it. I don't know,
Um,
maybe it'll work now with a regular magic band during open house hours. I haven't
Right.
been on we haven't been back on the Wish, I think, since well, actually they had magic bands. Anyway, we haven't tried it, but
Mhm.
I'm like kind of pissed. I'm gonna be honest that they have
Right.
some really cool stuff in the
Yeah.
kids club
Yeah.
on the
So-
But
Wish
if they
house.
let us in,
Right.
it would be crowded with adults
Yeah.
You're
all
right.
Or
the
if
time.
they wanted to get more money out of it, they could make it like a concierge level only perk for adults to
Oh,
access. Maybe. Just saying.
Yeah.
fancy.
Yeah.
That would be
All right.
nice.
So
like an adult takeover.
Right.
So we've got
exactly.
we've got a
Yeah.
cool question. I had a question along these lines, but not this direct, which is let me just throw this up here. So our friend CT is asking, do we think Hyperspace Lounge goes away during the Wish's first dry dock if Haunted Mansion Parlor gets better feedback? But the question I wanted to understand was, what do you think of them? So the Haunted Mansion Parlor is coming. I think
Yeah.
universally, like most people are excited. They're just waiting to
Yeah.
see, again, the execution of it. But what do
Right.
you think about them putting it onto
The
the
Destiny also.
Destiny as
Yeah.
opposed to
Yeah.
something else? And I do sort of like, this is the natural extension. The next thing is like, well,
Right.
if Hyperspace isn't doing so well, do they retheme it? So now you have like Haunted Mansion Parlor on 3 ships. Like,
Yeah.
what do you
That's
think?
interesting. I mean, I know historically Disney has always tried to do something different in each of those spaces to have it be a differentiator that you can say, I want to like basically collect all the cruise ships and say, I've been on that one because it says this and only this is available there. Same thing with Disneyland. Like we're the only ones that have the Matterhorn. Hey.
Right.
So it's like, you got to go to Disneyland if you want that. So
If you want to get your back adjusted.
Right. If you want to forget going to the chiropractor and
Right.
just, or
Exactly.
maybe you don't need to go to the chiropractor after. I don't know.
Exactly.
So I think the fact that it's actually been repeated on Destiny is actually surprising. I think
Yeah, we were a little bummed,
yeah,
to
I
be
was kind of
honest.
thinking
Like,
it could have been like a good Marvel bar. Granted, we have the Sanctum, but I think that could have been maybe like a really cool Iron Man bar or something
Yeah.
like that.
no, it's going to be cool, but we like visiting the new venues on each
Yeah.
ship. So
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, well, we already would have seen that. I would be sad if they got rid of Hyperspace. I mean,
Yeah, sure,
Hyperspace
yeah.
is really cool, but
And
like
it's also the only place where you can see
the what's it called? You know,
I'm totally drawing a blank on the
the
the Halcyon.
it starts with
Halcyon,
Halcyon.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
That's
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the only place
Yeah.
you
Rest
can
in
see,
peace.
where you can
Never.
remember Shangri-La
Yeah.
Star Line. Yeah.
But with
Yeah.
Hyperspace, and this is probably just my like personal preferences, like I don't love a lot of the drinks in there. So it's like I like hanging out in there, and I like the bubbles and the smoke and all that stuff, but I just don't
and the
like
printed.
the printed.
the
yeah,
Ripples
the
machine.
yeah, but I just don't like a lot of the ingredients in the drink. So if
Yeah.
they could maybe
Same.
update the menu, I think it might draw more people.
What do you
in.
think of the Haunted Mansion drinks that they've shown?
What are they? I don't know.
Well, same kind of idea with the Ripples drink and the black.
Oh wait,
light
didn't it have a lot of like what's that purple
Falernum
yam
or something,
thing
or
called?
like-
Like ube or something like that.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, a lot
yeah,
of kind of interesting ingredients that maybe
yeah.
doesn't appeal
Blue
to the
curacao.
masses.
Disney loves blue curacao.
Disney
Disney loves blue curacao. Listen, I
It's a-
like blue curacao, but I'm
Right.
with you, Heidi, on the Hyperspace Lounge drinks. I'm
Yeah.
not into most of those drinks.
No.
I hope they'll do something a little different, and
Mhm.
you know, they can be still inventive. I just
Yeah.
want like some kind of less weird drinks.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
agreed. Yes.
Yeah. Well, they have I mean, so what's interesting to me, so like the idea that they could do a doctor, like put the Sanctum into,
Yeah.
Make that the tech bar basically on board. Like
Mhm.
they already have some of that stuff built because they have it in the kids clubs. They have the doors that change when you
Yeah.
turn the
Yeah.
things. Like interesting to me that it felt like they're sort of doing it maybe to cut some costs, save some money, but
Right.
didn't feel like there was a stretch to like get there from where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the drink thing is interesting too, because if I think about like Hyperspace Lounge and the drinks that you could get on the Star Cruiser, like the drinks were far beyond and way better than anything you get in the Hyperspace Lounge. So it's like, just bring that menu over, or
Yeah.
It would not be that hard.
yeah, and they bring
Yeah.
at Top of the World. They do that Villains Lair stuff now with really cool drinks and cups and all that sort of stuff. But just bring that onto the ship.
My prediction, Brian, I don't think they're gonna, to answer CC's question, I don't think that they're going to take away
Yeah, I don't
Hyperspace
think so
Lounge
either.
anytime soon, because it still hits the Star Wars.
I think they might
note, right?
improve it.
So
I think they might
I
improve
hope
it.
that's what I
Really
hope. I
nice.
hope that they'll go into dry dock and maybe add some stuff to it so that it's a little bit more themed, because the screen is great, but like
Yeah.
the rest of it needs a little bit more theming, and if
Agreed.
they tweak it, it could be even better. It could be, well, much better than it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, one thing I noticed, so Bridget is telling us in the comments that she thought Keg and Compass was open for kids during the day because she definitely took her kid there for a Learn to Draw Ursula and didn't get politely kicked out.
Politely
So
kicked out.
that's good. I mean, it might be that it's just for certain events that are family friendly. I don't know, but I will be honest and say that I know they do adult trivias in there. They don't do family trivias in there, at least on any sailing that we've been on the Wish. And so I have
Yeah,
never
but we had that
seen kids
we had that
hanging
one
out
trivia
there.
where the kids came and they played and they were basically, it was adult trivia, but they let the kids play and basically said you're
That's
disqualified.
true.
You can't win. And I was
You
like,
can't
well, if
win.
they
That's
get
right. I
more
forgot
answers, I
about
don't care if
that.
they take the medal. Like
Yeah.
so let me wrap
Yeah.
up the Destiny discussion with the question. There was a core question here. Do you all plan on booking the Destiny when bookings open?
Yeah.
But what you are, it sounds like you both are kind of interested in going. So
Oh, yeah. Well, any
for
Disney
sure.
ship that's new, we're gonna go on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's
No
kind of
question.
by
Yeah.
default.
And that's
yeah.
why we love
Yeah.
having you as guests on the show, because we
That's
think
right.
alike in that regard.
And if the question is directed towards the duo, the answer is an emphatic yes. It's just a
Well,
matter of timing.
with a little asterisk, it says would like to see itineraries and pricing first. So
Of
yes.
course, of course. Well, but that's really the timing issue, right? Like
Yeah.
I would love to be able to go on the Maiden, but I
Mhm.
don't know if the timing's going to work out,
Right.
right? So all we know is November 2025. I have said that my prediction or my hope is that they would be doing Thanksgiving week, but I don't know that. And we know it's 4 and 5 night sailing. So I don't know what that itinerary is going to look like. So definitely going to book it. It's just a matter of like what we're going to book exactly.
Yeah.
This is a good question for both of you. The sort of, I think before I would have emphatically said, yeah, I'm booking it. But now after the treasure and the pricing and the timing and all that sort of stuff, now I hedge a little bit and say, well, I kind of want to see what they're doing. Jason, you cover across the cruise industry and kind of have a sense of where Disney's trying to fit into the marketplace. Like, what do you think about their pricing these days? Because it's always been high and it's always going up. So like, I don't know how unrealistic it's become, but what do you think in comparison to what you're seeing out there?
It's interesting. It's high, but if you look at like even Royal Caribbean, what they're doing, whenever they have a new ship that comes out, it's very high too. Maybe not quite to the level of Disney by any means, but it is always that thing of like the newest, the shiniest toy is gonna be the most expensive, right?
Yeah,
like,
but what I always tell people when I'm like booking people on Disney cruises or they're interested in it is you cannot compare it to booking another cruise. You have to compare it to the cost of a theme park vacation. And when you look at that, it's actually a decent value when you add up, like if you were staying on property, you're buying food for everyone, you're buying tickets, that seriously adds up and it might make Disney Cruise Line look like a more
and even just your
affordable
access
trip.
to the characters, like you don't have to wait as long.
And then like lightning lanes and all of that, like all the add-ons.
Excuse me, lightning lane, multi-pass, and lightning lane. I don't even know. I can't keep up.
Yes, like individual lightning lane and multi-pass lightning lane, right? I think that's what they're called now. Is right. But yeah, it becomes very expensive. And if you're bigger eaters like we are, and if you've got maybe I don't know, like teenage boys who are bigger eaters, maybe like the cruise value starts looking pretty good because the cruise is all you can eat, and the park's food is very expensive.
For sure.
Just included soft drinks, I think, goes a long way.
That's something a lot of.
Oh my God, $5.25. I think the last time we were at Disneyland, I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm paying that for.
And the fireworks at sea, I mean, that's just
nobody else does that.
Norwegian tried it for a couple of years, didn't really work out too well for them, so it's Disney only now. So
it's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to shift gears for a second. I'm going to throw up Linda's comment here. She said, if we get to talking about the Asian ships, think they'll ever have? I don't know what Halo on the ship is. I don't know what Halo
is.
Linda, if you want to comment, you can let us know.
Let us know what that is.
But I do want to shift us over to talk about the Asia ships, because that is a big departure for Disney from what they've traditionally done. We now know they're going to have 2, the Adventure coming out in 25 at some point, and Japan, Tokyo Disney, the Oriental Land Company, launching their own ship in partnership with Disney Cruise Line in 2029, I think it is.
I think 2028.
Yeah, it's like fiscal year something and actual year or something else.
True.
So but yes, And so what do you think about that move from your vantage?
I think it's interesting because in the case of the Adventure, it's one that was not purpose built for Disney, which is the first time they've ever done that. So my original response to that was kind of one of surprise, really, because that's one thing about Disney Cruise Line is like every little detail has always been designed specifically for the cruise line. And here
Totally.
you are taking a ship that was partially built, and I mean, from all indications point to the fact that it's going to be completely revamped, and almost like the fact that they're doing the split bathrooms. Like I think they've really gone through.
Oh, they
and
are. They
I think they
confirmed
are.
that?
So I think
Oh,
they're
okay.
going in and gutting almost all the cabins and redoing that. So
Yeah.
you know, they saved
That's
a
a
lot of
huge
money.
undertaking, and that's a
Expensive.
ton of money, right?
Huge,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, Linda's saying
Yeah.
halo halo or hallow hallow is a Filipino dessert with shaved ice,
Ah,
ice cream, ube, jello, and flan.
interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
Listen, I'm
Yeah.
all about the shave ice, so I
Yeah.
would just get mine with just shave ice. So
Right.
Maybe condensed milk if you're gonna go Hawaiian style.
right,
Maybe a hybrid of
exactly.
the
That's
Dole
good
Whip
too.
somehow. Like
Yeah.
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 Well, the adventure, when
Mhm.
I first heard about it, I started calling it Bruno, and I don't talk about Bruno because it's just like
yeah.
it's just a little confusing, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what they do. And like we were
Right.
talking about
Yeah.
earlier, how I think it's going to be cruises to nowhere, which is fun because
Mhm.
a lot of times when we're on Disney ships, we don't get off the ship because we're there for the ship. We're not
Yeah.
necessarily there for the destination.
Well, that's the thing. It's gonna be the largest cruise ship that they've ever had.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot to see, and I'm curious to see. I mean, they've announced like all the districts that are gonna be on board, and
Yeah,
Right.
it's
everything.
like IP heavy. Like
Yeah.
it's got it
Oh,
all.
super.
So
Do you think, I
yeah.
mean, it's is it similar size to Icon, right? Because Icon is
Not
humongous.
quite to that size. That's still
Okay, so it's
bigger,
still
but it's
smaller than
definitely
Icon. That's
it's in the
hilarious.
Oasis
That's kind
class.
of hilarious
You
to
know,
me.
vicinity, because it's one of those like split hole designs where like down the center you have like the
An
open
opening.
core. So
Mhm.
it's definitely in that size
That's hilarious. So it's
direction.
bigger than Oasis, but smaller than
Icon.
Icon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Wow.
feel like from a park standpoint, they have
Mhm.
sometimes used the Asian parks as a way to, I don't want to
Mhm.
say test things. I think they're building things for Asia that then become very
Sure.
popular. And they're like, let's bring them to the, like
Purchase over,
Tron.
yeah.
Tron
Yeah.
came over.
Yeah.
Right.
The ride vehicles for Baymax, I think, started,
Yeah.
in Asia, then came over to Tow-Maters. And I think
Right.
I might have that
Right.
wrong,
I
but
love that
like, I
ride.
feel like
That's
there's these little
And the alien
elements.
saucers, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I wonder if maybe they'll
Mhm.
use the ship for some of that. Like,
Makes
let's see
sense.
what happens
Yeah.
if we put a roller coaster on the back of a ship. Let's just see
Yeah.
what happens.
Well, Holland America Line has the Westerdam, and in-house they sometimes call that the Testerdam, because they do the same kind of thing with that ship, where they test different programs, and then if it works, they'll roll it out. So maybe this will be
It makes
Disney's
sense.
Testerdam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the burning question everyone always asks us is casino or no casino. So do you have any
No
do you
casino.
have any
Not
thoughts
gonna
on
have
whether
it. No, it did
Yeah.
originally. It was originally on the plan, because it was originally going to be the global dream for Dream Cruises,
right?
and it was a part of that plan. But I think it's going to be more kids facility,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
That'd be my
Yeah.
thought.
Which is good.
That
That's
makes
their
sense.
brand.
Yeah,
That's Disney's
exactly.
brand.
Stick to it.
No casino.
Yeah, I agree.
Interesting.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're never going to see Donald Duck slot machines, I don't think. So yeah,
Although,
That might
could
be
be,
kind of
yeah,
fun.
that would be
Change my mind.
right. Yeah.
Oh,
No, it'd
man,
have to be Scrooge McDuck slot machines,
True.
Ryan,
Oh,
not
yes.
Donald Duck
That's
slot
true.
machines.
That's
It
true.
would have him like swimming through the money,
Yes.
that
Yes.
image. So
I
Right.
love it.
Do you think Disney's ready? Like, I know their parks are popular over there.
Mhm.
It feels like there's a lot of competition for them over there, though, too, with other cruise lines.
Yeah.
I just have no sense, and I mean, you may not either, but of
Yeah.
how big a deal cruising is in that market.
Right.
If that's the kind of vacation people really like to do. I don't know if you have any predictions. We had one person tell us their prediction was that ship will be in Miami within the next 5 years.
oh,
but,
the adventure,
You
yeah,
never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it's interesting because the Chinese market, as far as the industry as a whole is concerned, was really something that they were targeting
Yeah,
several
like
years
back
ago.
in like 2019,
Yeah, and
2020.
it didn't quite pan out
Yeah.
for them, and they kind of
Mhm.
pulled back on that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
now it's kind of like reversing, and I think they're trying to go back again. And like, I know Carnival's basically creating a whole new line for that market. So I think
interesting.
there's an opportunity, so long as they don't oversaturate it.
Mhm.
Right.
And Disney's never oversaturated the market until maybe now, because like only having the 4 ships for
Right.
so many years.
Yeah.
Now you're nearly doubling that to 9. I think it's going to be a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
But I think, China, I think still has a lot of potential for them.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the other is Japan. And then I think I kind of think the opposite for that ship. I think they're going to put a lot more money into that one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because if it's Oriental Land Company, and you think about how much they basically built Tokyo Disney
Sea.
Resort
Yeah.
with sparing no expense,
Mhm.
essentially. So
Yeah.
I could see
They
them
went all out.
going to the shipyard and saying like, yes, this is going to be a Wish class ship, but we're like, we want it to be the best Wish class ship, and I think
Yeah.
that's definitely going to happen.
That will
How do
be
you-
so cool. I have to say, that's like the adventure it piques my interest just because it's going to be different. It's going to have so much IP on it. And it's going to
Yep.
be huge, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel the same as the other ships, right? And so, I don't trust them to completely do it right, even though it is Disney Cruise Line doing it, but because it's such a big ship and it's so different and it didn't start with a Disney design like you were talking about, Jason,
Sure.
I'm more worried about that. The OLC ship, I actually like that really excites me because I love Duffy and Friends.
Oh
I
yeah.
want to get to Tokyo Disney.
Us
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I feel like this is an opportunity to make a big trip over to
Mhm.
Tokyo, one summer for, I don't know,
Right.
like hit Tokyo Disneyland, Tokyo Disney Sea,
For
hit the
sure.
cruise, maybe see a little Super Nintendo. I don't know,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
there's just a huge opportunity
Go
there.
over
And
to spend a whole month plus.
I know, and then add
Yeah.
on ABD has Adventures by Disney has a really good China itinerary over there, and it hits both the parks, the Shanghai and Hong Kong parks. So just spend a whole month in
She
Asia.
can book that for you too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
I
plug.
Yeah,
love
sure.
it. I love
What-
it. I
Well,
love
here's
it.
the thing that's
Heidi,
interesting though, because I think as the fleet grows, I think you're
Yeah.
eventually going to have one of the original ships, the Magic of the Wonder, on the West Coast year round,
Mhm.
and I think you're going to have that ship periodically going to Hawaii, like it has done in the past. And then if you have the ships that are in Asia doing the same thing, maybe they will eventually come to Hawaii. Maybe they'll like both meet in the
Swap,
middle.
yeah.
They can do like a swap thing. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
that
there's
would be
so many opportunities.
awesome. That
That'd be
would be
cool.
awesome. And then they don't need to go through the canal. They just stay on the West Coast or on the
Exactly.
Pacific.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they'll stay there and just go to Alaska seasonally and come back down.
Be cool.
Yeah.
Heidi, I'm curious, as you think about these, with the adventures coming soon, right? Like,
Mhm.
are you, in your travel agency business, are you seeing people who want to do that ship, who want to book that ship?
I haven't heard too much talk about it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. I feel like once more information is released, and maybe once people start going on it, like once the really like hardcore fans go over there and go on
Word
it,
of mouth.
yeah, word of mouth.
Yeah.
If there's really cool stuff in it, because it is a big trip, right? To fly
Yeah.
over to Asia. So we'll see kind of what the word of mouth press is
Mhm.
on that ship.
It's like a full court press of advertising
Mhm.
over there. I mean, I think I said off air maybe that like every day we're getting new, like, here's the subway ad. Someone
Right.
Yeah.
sent us from Cruises sent a photo and seeing a big billboard for the adventure as she was driving by it, and then we see videos that are kind of released but not released, and so it just feels like the entire push over there. It's like in the US, look at the Destiny, and outside the
Yeah.
US, it's like, okay, we got the adventure over here
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Asia. So
Yeah, it just
it's
kind of
it's really
feels like a
exciting.
mystery to me right now because
Mhm.
like we know Disney's formula for their ships here.
Exactly.
And so this is just I actually just thought of the best Stern characters for the adventure because this is kind of a stepchild of a ship. So we could put the stepsisters from Cinderella on there.
I
Well,
love it.
Nice. That's funny.
Yeah.
That'd be a great
No,
Easter egg.
I wonder if you think, Heidi, if you think that American travel advisors are going to be able to book both these ships, both adventure and also I'm just going to call it the OLC ship because we don't know
Yeah.
what it's going to be called.
I'm guessing no, to be honest.
Mhm.
We'll see, but like right now we can't book a lot of international Disney stuff. So my prediction is no.
Mhm.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah.
And the OLC ship is interesting too, because we don't even know for sure that that's going to be Disney Cruise Line branded.
Mhm.
They specifically said that it's just going to be OLC built and operated. I think as far as they went. And it's like,
Right, it's a partnership, and so I'm
Right.
sure that I'm sure Disney Cruise Line will train them and be
Right.
heavily involved,
Yeah.
but yeah, once the sort of transition happens and they start operating it, like, yeah, how much I agree, and we don't know about, with Castaway status and things like that. I'm guessing, I mean, even the adventure might be on a different sort of,
I'm still
loyalty
trying to get them
plan.
to give me Castaway Club status for my trip on the Halcyon. So,
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we got one comment here saying, how soon is the adventure coming? So it should be online by the end of 2025. So she should
Yeah.
have her maiden voyage by the end of 2025, which is
But we
making
don't
this
know
all the
they
more
haven't said
interesting.
yeah. Said
Yeah.
when we have heard that coming out before Destiny. We know the Destiny was originally announced December 2025, and then that the literature changed just as of last week to November 2025. So like we
Yeah.
talked about on last week's show, she got moved up, but we've heard adventures coming out first, but we don't know what that
Yeah.
means.
This is
Yeah.
interesting too, that they're marketing the adventure in Australia. That
Yeah.
makes me wonder how much longer the Like the
Singapore to Australia,
yeah, but it makes me wonder if maybe the Magic and the Wonder will stop going over there, and they'll just use the Adventure to kind of service that market during part of the year. So that's kind of interesting because it's not a short trip between Australia and Singapore,
and anywhere really.
Right.
And anywhere. I mean,
yeah.
And I think they have like a 5-year contract with Singapore at least. So before it departs from that as their home port, they at least have that locked in. So,
well,
but they could have an alternative port though, right? I mean, like they could move it. I guess I don't know. Like the Magic moves around the most, right? So they have a home port. Yeah,
but I think the Adventure is actually home ported in Singapore for like 5 years or 4 years.
Yes.
Oh, and it has to be because of the fuel. They're using that special fuel. Yeah.
The other issue though is like it's going to be able to probably run on other fuels like for
LNG,
short term, right? But like its primary fuel will be that. What is it? Green ethanol, whatnot. But maybe there'll be some other ports that are going to be converting to or allow for fueling of green ethanol in after some time in that 5-year period.
Right.
So be very interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to round out kind of our chat here. D23 is. We're days away from
the kickoff. Actually happened. They threw out. Mickey was there for throwing out the pitch at the Anaheim Angels game.
Yeah, Green Night.
Yeah. But the Horizons presentation, the big 90-minute all out. Everyone's hoping to not hear the words "blue sky thinking" anywhere in that presentation on Saturday.
Mary Poppins, maybe. Yeah.
We need some solid confirmations this time.
Yeah, exactly. From a cruise line standpoint, with everything going on, Jason, do you see like I assume they're going to announce like a Hercules stage show at this thing. Although I'd say my viewpoint on the presentation they're doing is it's high stakes. It's a high stakes 90 minutes because they've gone for a couple of years now with presentations with lots of like, we could do this, we could do that. They've got Epic Universe. They announced the Disneyland Forward has been approved. They've got the $60 billion that they're going to spend over the next 10 years. And so for me, it feels like they're at a moment where they need to come out and for 90 minutes explain how they're going to spend that. How are you going to spend the $60 billion, right? Like we need details. So if I look at that and I try to figure out like, how does cruise line situate into that? Like I have my own guesses, which are probably wildly wrong and inaccurate. But what like do you think they say anything about the cruise line beyond like a Hercules stage show?
I think they will probably do the show because that's the one blank space that we haven't filled yet. But I think Disney Cruise Line is the surest thing that Disney has, and they realize that. So I think they really want to put the attention of that 90 minutes to the areas like the parks and things like that that are maybe a little more questionable at this point. So I think we might hear a little bit, but not a whole lot.
What do you think, Heidi?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think we've heard like a lot already. So I think they probably will.
I think they specifically released what they did for Destiny ahead of time. Just kind of as a bit of a primer and like, this is what you're going to get the conversation started.
What about that artwork? What about that artwork that has two ships on the poster? We feel like that's like gotta be a hint because they love to throw in these little Easter eggs, right? Like we saw in the comic book stuff, right? For the Destiny, you saw like different characters and they all turned out to be spaces. We saw the different patches when folks who got those packages, a lot of the influencers and TAs that got those packages, right? So I feel like they love these. Like could they be, I mean, Tracy's saying maybe the two other ships, meaning I think she's meaning the Adventure and the OLC ship. Like, could they be representative of those ships, or could they be something new?
I will say on the Adventure side, I think they're wasting their powder if they talk about anything about the Adventure at D23, just because it's not aimed at this market. Well, and OLC is way too far out to be talking about.
Right? That's what I think. Yeah, but what do you guys think? Do you think that was just like, we're going to talk cruise line, and so there's cruise lines in the picture, like there are all the parks represented in the picture, or do you think that that's a purposeful Easter?
As much as I would love to say I think it's going to be another two ships, I think it's going to just be representative of the ones that they've already announced, because for them to already nearly be doubling the fleet by 2028, 2029, I think that's already going to be a lot for them to manage. So anything beyond that, I think they need to kind of like make sure that they have enough time dedicated to itinerary planning and where they're going to do with Magic and Wonder and dial that in and get people on the West Coast excited.
So that's my question, though: is could these two ships just be the replacement ship? Because the Magic and the Wonder are going to hit 30 soon, right?
That's
like
true.
not.
Yep, they're old ladies.
They're old ladies. That's our prediction is they are the announcement for the replacements of the Magic and the Wonder, and that those will.
They make
well, though.
I know, but they're still, they have to dry dock them now. Or the Magic has to be dry docked like every 2 years now at 25 years old.
What do you think? Because you're such a hardware.
Well, that's the thing.
nerd.
So the thing about hardware is that you usually have secondary and tertiary markets for existing hardware,
right.
And most companies like Carnival, Royal Caribbean will only hold on to their ship for maybe 20 years tops, and maybe send it off maybe a little longer than that. But then they're going to be like to other markets from there. And then maybe like after a career of 40 or 50 years, then they would go to the breakers and be torn up and sold for scrap.
Right.
I think Disney can't sell their ships to any other company.
Could you imagine them going to a secondary
So
market?
I think they're going to hold on to them as long as they possibly can, because they wouldn't want that branding out there. I think.
Yeah. So, it's like the Mickey Mouse in Times Square. It just doesn't look quite right.
Exactly.
Oh, I saw one in Vegas that will haunt me. For a while.
We saw one at a kid's birthday party. Don't you remember that, Brian? Just in literally in the mall near us, there was a kid's birthday party, and there was a Mickey Mouse, and I'm giving air quotes for those who are not watching and just listening to this, because it did not look like Mickey Mouse, and he was scary.
It's not right.
Yeah, not right. I agree. There is only one.
You think the ships have another maybe 20 years on them before they have to break them up, basically?
I think with Disney, at least another 10, honestly.
Wow.
I think we will see that happen. Yeah. That's my prediction.
There you go. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. That's what Jason at Mr. Popular Cruising and Mrs. Popular Cruising.
And the great thing is we're probably all wrong. So
we'll all be surprised by something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If nothing else, maybe we'll have more concept art released, because we haven't seen the Pirates art yet for the Pirates Bar or the Sanctum Bar.
Point.
So I think maybe that'll be something that's maybe on the exhibit floor on display, and that's maybe why they've held back.
Yeah,
I would.
And
they'll
announce Disney Airline, and we'll have to start a whole new spin-off podcast. So there you go.
Well, that's the other one, Adventures by Disney, right? You take the
private jet
to all the properties around the world.
That's a good point. I wonder if we'll see any announcements focus on ABD, because ABD is still under Signature Experiences as well, and so it could be part of the Horizons panel. I mean, it is obviously a niche brand, but it's very successful.
I don't think it has a wide enough appeal for them to spend time on it in that panel. I just don't think it is.
ABD, have you guys done an ABD trip?
We did River Cruise on ABD.
Nice.
Yeah, and we loved
it's a great product.
Their partnership with Emma Waterways is great. If anything, I could see them doing an Adventures by Disney branded river cruise line. I could see, there's not a whole lot you would have to spend to invest in your own river line.
Well, that's what Erin Foster we talked to her right after the pandemic had kind of started to wind down, and she her thing was look, if you'd asked me pre all of this, I would have told you Disney Cruise Line was probably looking for a way to get into the river cruising market, but now I think that probably got set back. So that's also an interesting direction for them to head, because I think those river cruises are wildly popular.
And I think it would be fun to get more and more younger people into river cruising, because it is such a great way to travel. And I think if they themed one towards Disney, then that would be a good way to get people into the market.
And make cabins and make cabins even more accessible for families, because the ones that ABD uses with AMA Waterways are good. They can sleep 3 people, but the third person has to be like a kid, a small, very small person. And and it was tight. I will tell you, it was tight in our room. And he was on it was like a pull-out chair, right? So it was a chair that turned into a bed. It wasn't even the twin. It was like a cot-sized bed. So he could fit on it at 9 or 10 years old. But he's not going to, even at 15, he's not going to fit on that thing.
That's the challenge, because the space is such a premium on the riverboats, but it would be really fun for families to be able to do that together more often.
Absolutely.
Just to see a riverboat, Emma Waterways, I think, does a fantastic job of bringing it on and doing an overlay, but just to see the Disney designs on a river ship would be really cool. Obviously, you can do rotational dining, but
right. There'll still be one dining room.
Although Amma tried with the Magna, the ton of that huge ship that they had.
Double wide,
I've been on that ship. It's actually really nice.
Yeah, we don't mean that in a bad way.
No, we don't.
The the ship that we were looking at doing a river cruise next summer, and I was like, I really want to go on that ship just to see what it's like.
Nice.
So yeah, it looks really nice. It looks
But
really nice.
that plan is on hold because we need to wait and see Destiny pricing. And with between the Treasure and we're going on the Fantasy and then we're going on the Treasure again and then we want to get on the Destiny, like we got to save our pennies, Disney. Like this is getting expensive, and we're not even talking sailing concierge except for when we go to Alaska. But it's just it's I forget that one too. So
I've got two more quick topics. One is just my own personal interest because you went on the Star Cruiser, you went on the Halcyon.
Well, it wasn't. I didn't overnight. It was a preview.
That's right.
A preview day. Yeah.
Do you think we see anything at D23 about what they're going to do with the Halcyon moving forward?
Maybe that could be interesting. I mean, they're got to do something with it, right? Like it's just sitting there.
Yeah, Spirit Halloween store.
Oh my God, that is the best thing ever. The Spirit Halloween.
Amazing.
Oh my God. That makes, listen, they could sell Star Wars costumes, right?
They did. It didn't work out for them. But
they were selling them at the one of the outlet stores, that Disney outlet store.
I know. Yeah, we saw the stuff even at Disney Studios when we were at Disney World. They were selling it.
Oh yeah,
we bought some of the Halcyon stuff. Right? Somewhere.
It's over
here.
Right there.
Got our little keychain.
All of our props. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay. Last question that I've got for you is just you've sailed so many other lines. If you were talking to someone who was like thinking about sailing Disney or had sailed Disney for a long time actually and was looking to try something different, what's the line that you would steer people to? And maybe let me put it this way. There's probably a good answer for don't have kids. It's just adults who enjoy Disney Cruise Line and want to experience something.
I want to hear both of your answers, by the way. This is not just
100%. It might be different.
It might be different. Because I mean, Heidi does this actually, right? With clients. So yeah.
I mean, I would say for family, Royal Caribbean International is probably the closest as far as like pushing the boundaries of what cruising can be. Entertainment, stuff that's available for adults and for children. Do you agree with me?
Yes, I do think so. I think that if you want to be in a little bit like nicer category, I think Princess and some of the new ships that Princess is coming out with are really cool. So,
but also really like Norwegian and Carnival.
Hey, we like Carnival.
We do love Carnival is one of those that had a reputation for being a booze cruise. That reputation is not accurate any longer. They have a great product. I think really a fantastic value.
Yeah. They know who they are and they're not trying to like be everything for everybody, and they're really good at what they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think kind of just like the level, because you would consider Disney more of like a
premium. So that's the thing. So like Royal Caribbean traditionally is kind of more of like a standard mainstream. Whereas with the value that you get with Disney, I consider them more of a premium, which would be kind of comparable to Holland America line, Celebrity, or Princess. So in that regard, Princess would be a good alternative. Yeah.
What about adults? What would you say for like Disney adults? Where would you send them? Would you send them to Virgin? Would you send them to Princess? Like
Virgin?
Yeah, we're in the midst of booking a Virgin cruise right now.
Virgin's really fun. Have you guys been on Virgin?
We're going in October. Yeah,
you're gonna like it.
Nice.
It's something. It's a whole different animal. It's like more like Vegas than a regular cruise. The fact that basically it's all specialty dining, but it's all included.
Yes.
Makes all the difference.
They have so many good inclusions. Like I feel like they're looking at the business practice of cruising and being like, okay, what is dumb and how can we change that?
For sure.
So like Wi-Fi is included, sodas are included, gratuities are included. They give the price of the cabin instead of giving a per person price, which drives me nuts when it's like, here, the cruise is $1,600, but you can't book it for $1,600. It's like, just give the full thing. So Virgin, I think Virgin is for people who kind of enjoy that like Vegas style. I think Virgin would be a good choice.
They're coming to the West Coast.
They are spring 2026. We're very excited. We don't get a lot of new ship love on the West Coast. So.
That's right.
The Brilliant Lady, right?
The Brilliant Lady.
Yeah.
Well, they've got that cool they're going all the way from New York all the way around. You can like book the whole trip. That's really cool. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. We've got a question about thoughts on Celebrity. Alicia's doing them in Alaska next summer.
Oh yeah, I think the Edge is going to be in Alaska. So we like Celebrity a lot, and the new Edge class, right? I really like the Infinite Veranda. I know it's kind of a divisive thing, but in Alaska that might be really nice. Celebrity has really good food. Their stage shows are really great, and
the sound system.
Yeah, you
like,
love the sound system.
I was filming the production show.
Yeah,
with my camera, and like I went back and looked at my footage, and you could literally see the camera shaking.
Yeah,
for each beat because the subwoofer was so loud. It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're a fan of Celebrity, and you've been cruising Celebrity
for
a
years,
long time, right?
Yeah, they've come a long way.
Good line.
Wait, let me see, you mentioned Princess. We were supposed to do Princess in November. We're probably gonna take that
not
one.
this November,
not
next November.
Sure.
Probably gonna take it off the table because of the Destiny now and go on that.
Yeah.
But I was actually Heidi, I had your viewpoint on it. I was really, really excited to go on some of these new ships until recently when they basically announced that whole thing that they were going to put on the top deck is now just like a non-starter. Like
they scrapped it, the whole ropes thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like that was so disappointing. I don't know how you felt about that, but I felt like it was like, what a great activity for families and kids. And now it's just gone.
Because I've actually been on that ship, and I actually had a chance to walk underneath it. And
we're talking about the Sun
Princess.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
and it looks really cool. Like it had kind of like I think they call it like a rogue glider or something, like where you hung from the track and all that. But somehow
kind of like a zip line thingy.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure it comes down to insurance. Like somehow something wasn't signed off on, and the specs weren't right, and they just like
that's such a bummer. But they have Spellbound on that ship, which is Magic Castle at Sea. I think it's probably adults only, right?
Yeah. But
that's really cool. Yeah, I really want to try that.
Is that like the secret? There's like the restaurant that was like that did look really cool. That did look really cool. Yeah.
And again,
maybe we'll move.
The interactive touches in there are very Disney-esque. So yeah, very cool. I would.
Maybe we'll move our Princess Cruise and try them.
Yeah, maybe we'll. Yeah.
But were you looking at Sun Princess for that one, or
we were going to be on Star? They were like, there's just
either one would be great. Yep.
Yeah. I was like, I saw somebody did like a. Like they walked through the entire ship. They went from top to bottom in just one video, and I was like, I couldn't keep up with all the restaurants that they kept
all the time. Oh my
it looked
the
pretty
steakhouse on that thing. Like they have the regular Chop Steakhouse, but they have this other one that's by this Italian guy. And my gosh, they kept on bringing food and like
that's meat overload.
I mean, I'm a meat lover.
I'm a meat lover too. I'm with you.
The meat sweats like Joey.
Listen, I have experienced the meat sweats myself. It's no fun. It's fun going in. It's not fun after the meat sort.
Well, we always love to wrap up with guests and ask kind of what's next. Where are you headed next?
Well, actually, yeah. So the cruise that I have going next is actually the one you get to come with me on. So where are we going?
Well, we were supposed to be going to Italy, and that fell through. So we are going on a Mississippi River cruise.
Oh wow!
Honestly, though, we're really excited. It's on the Viking Mississippi. We're going to 5 states that neither of us have been to before, outside of the airport, probably. Exactly. So it starts in St. Louis, Missouri, and goes all the way up to Minnesota, and it's just going to be a different experience. And we love Viking. We love everything that Viking does. So it'll be really fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I honestly didn't even know Viking had river cruises in the U.S. That's awesome. Yeah. I've always wanted to do. I want to go the opposite direction. I want to end in New Orleans because I think
I think they have that too.
They have the entire upper and lower Mississippi.
Yeah. Very cool.
Amazing.
Very, very cool. Well, we'll follow along with interest. Why don't you both remind folks just where they can find you if they join the show late, and go for it.
Yeah, so popularcruising.com and also Popular Cruising on YouTube.
Yeah, and MrsPopularCruising.com. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, all the places, Mrs. Popular Cruising.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I got to put just a personal plug in. Love following along with your travels. Love all the stuff over at Popular Cruising. So just great resource if you're out there. I mean, for Disney Cruise, or if you're just thinking about, I want to try something different. If we've coaxed you into one of our compare contrast shows and you're like, I want to go try this other cruise line, head over there because like it's great. It's just great.
Oh yeah, and all the ship reviews and ship tour stuff that Jason's got on there, super helpful. So much stuff over there.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Well, just want to thank you both for taking some time. I know you're incredibly busy. We really appreciate you coming on and spending some time with folks. And
thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, and next week we will be live once again, our usual time, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. I notice how I always say the Pacific time first because West Coast, best coast. But we will be back. We will have Alicia and Nathan from Adventures in Mousecapades on.
We've been watching along tonight.
To talk about D23 because they will be there. And so they will be our roving reporters and help us report to you everything that happened at D23 that was about Disney Cruise Line or, Disney Cruise Line adjacent if we hear anything about Adventures by Disney or anything similar to that. So please join us. And thanks again for watching. We'll see you. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.